Damon Wegerbauer, a soldier in the trenches of construction, a boots on the ground, hands on the tools, frontline experience of the job. This is the start of the day, and we're on
just
the
end. I just listened to the post-game report.
Dane and I are talking about
on a heartbreaker.
Talking about the Mariners.
We're just talking about how they had all these games against left-handers and they can't hit against left-handers.
Just crumbled. It was heartbreaking listening to that on the radio.
Lit up worse
they
than
had
ever
a
before,
wonderful
right?
September.
That's something to look forward to next year, right?
As we walk down the highway, you see a crane holding a boat. This is something we're known for by the locals. Brian's telling me, here's where I find out
Seriously, all the drilling,
what I'll be doing.
No, we have to epoxy a little bit.
I'll be epoxying.
They ran out of nuts.
Yeah, now we just need to find, what, 100 more?
It's at this point we're down on the deck and I'm realizing I have no work gloves. I'm usually very meticulous with how I get my stuff together. You see I have my shirt and everything, and yet I have no gloves. I'm here with Max. Max has explained to me that this is what I'll be epoxying. Going to find where we need to epoxy. It's what are known as stitch plates. All the core drilling I did was so that this could be done and these plates fall where they need to fall. Dane is asking about the nuts that need to go on these all threads. And so we're just talking about how to get the nuts on those all threads.
All green, and as long as they see pH on them.
See, I have found a glove and I'm wringing it out. This glove has been sitting in the rain all night, but you know, somebody left a glove and I found it. Now I have one glove.
So,
we've come across the holes that I need to epoxy.
We assume they're clean.
Establishing that the holes are clean and ready for epoxy.
Yeah, they feel clean. All right, so I'm just going to go right to epoxy.
This is what I'll be working with. There is the epoxy gun and the epoxy. At the Conex, looking for battery chargers. The battery chargers and the batteries for the gun. It is an epoxy gun. And I'm explaining to Tim where
Max might have an idea what those are.
Torque wrench might be. Needing power for all jobs that I do. I start up generator. I got my battery fully charged. Getting Brian and Max out of the way so I can get to my epoxy gun and get to work. Putting the first battery into the epoxy gun.
All right, Max. Basically, I've got everything I need except for the little plastic tubes. Yep.
I did see a couple tips on that other side.
I also need a ladder. I grab a ladder quickly. I'm now looking around the corner, as Max suggested. I find a box full of old cartridges. Bang. There are my tips, so I'm ready to go. Having everything put together, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to put the gun and epoxy and tip. I've got my gun. There's the cartridge. I removed the cap and these little fillers. Notice I'm still wearing one glove. I'm not running back to my truck to go get a pair of gloves. Having everything together, I now need to check and see if the holes themselves are free and clear. Any sort of drilling or fighting with them, and they look good.
Big check. That 5-gallon bucket right
I am
there.
now looking for, it's not quite a sledgehammer.
I'm hoping there's a hammer. No. that like sledgehammer thing? The little guy?
Little guy, yeah. Look at what I find. So having found a glove, look at that. Having found a glove, I don't give up on trying to find a heavy hammer. I'm about to walk away, and there it is. On the way back, got to jump in and help Dave. Feeling good, helping out. I always love to jump in and help out.
You're kidding,
See
right?
Tim on the way back. He
It's
needs
not
a
heavy.
hand.
It's not. It's what I do.
Everything I need. I got the heavy hammer, got the ladder, got the epoxy gun. I even have a little brush there if I need it. I've been struggling with the gun, so I have another battery that I'm going to try. We're going to try to get this thing going. Slap that sucker in. Almost leave without the epoxy. I'm going to run this thing. And no, I'm not. Wah, wah, wah. This is the kind of stuff that drives me nuts. I finally on a third or fourth battery, here it comes. And you can see it. It's a black, and then it mixes with the white and turns to a gray. I let it just spill out the end of the tip to let it mix up a little bit. Insert it into the hole, and this hole's 1 foot deep, and I have to uniformly fill it with epoxy.
Have you seen that little finishing trowel? The little finishing trowel? Can I use that for a ride?
Having gotten the trowel, I grabbed some cardboard so I can scoop and clean. So here we are. I got the epoxy in the hole. I'm trying to foolishly beat the all thread in with my hand. It starts to hurt, so I grab the heavy hammer. Pretty much what I'm going to be doing all night long is filling a hole with epoxy and then driving an all thread into the side of the wall. Quickly change over on the cartridge. I'm replacing the cartridge of epoxy, but I'm going to keep the tip. The tips are valuable. There's no rush to fill these holes in the sense that this epoxy takes hours to dry. I could fill 2 holes with 1 cartridge of epoxy.
I got runaway. Yeah.
And that's the epoxy when it just flows. That's like the combination of all these holes kind of flowing down the side. I scoop up the excess. It's better to have excess than not enough in the hole.
They're actually around the corner over on the north corner.
Got to keep those boots clean. I don't want that epoxy to dry on my boot. So we're coming to the end, and you can see that my day involves a lot more than just filling a hole with epoxy. There's everything involved with getting from the start to the finish, including helping along the way, struggling with difficult pieces of equipment, and trying to stay clean.